What up? What up? It's Ibn Web, Quran and some here. Got another official thing situation going down here. Going to swing it over again to Essex County All Day Edition here. This young man, young adult that I have on here, special, special. That's all I could just say about Khalif here. From Montclair High, did what he had to do, and boy, did he do it well here. It was rare as far as me damn near getting summons to come to a game in Jersey. I know when I left Jersey, what have you here, but I was just told you gotta come see this man play. And I'm glad I did. I swear I should have just had a controller, joystick in my hand in the crowd here because it just felt like it was a video game, watching the video game, just watching him do his thing here. Like I said, I'm very, 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 just humbled that he just be willing to take some time out, talk to an old guy like myself here. So I'm just gonna hold tight and get to it. Hey, peace, man. How you?
I'm doing well, man. How about you?
I'm good. I'm good. Man, you about as loose as you was about 10, 12 years ago, man. Try to catch it.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Nah, it's cool. It's cool though. First and foremost, man, like I know we kind of online, whatever, introduced ourselves, but I'm Ibn Webb, and I've been doing this official things thing for a few months now, man. And like I said,
Man.
I'm flattered that you just took time out, man, because I know you scrambling like everybody else, man, especially
Absolutely.
with things opening and everything. And even with that being said, hopefully your family, everybody, you yourself, everybody's, good health, good spirits and everything too, man.
For sure. Everybody doing well, man. Everything is a little bit complicated because of the pandemic and all of that, but all in all, everybody doing pretty well. So I can't
Nah,
complain.
nah, nah, that's good money, man. And I know
Yeah.
with that being said though, where you at these days? You in Jersey still or you
No, I'm actually living in Philly. I've been living in Philly since I left, since I was 17. Honestly, I never
okay,
really relocated back to Jersey. But obviously that's in my blood. That's who I am. So it's always gonna be a part of me.
okay.
I found myself. I feel like I'll find myself back there one day. But right
Nah,
now,
I hear you, man. I hear
yeah,
you. I left and went to school in Connecticut, man, and I kept saying I'm gonna move back, and it's been years later. I still ain't moved back. But
they moved back.
the crew, everybody's still there, man. So I'm every time I blink of an eye, man, I'm down there to touch down to see family and everything, So
Yeah,
what part of Philly and you up? East, west, north? Where we at?
a little bit of everything right now. I work in North,
Okay,
but I'm in North right now, North
okay.
Philly. So yeah.
Nah, good stuff, man. Where all this start from, man? As far as if you just take it back a little bit, man. As far as just Khalif, man, how you use birth and kind of what happened from there, man?
Oh man, yeah, man. So I was born September 30th, 1994. Um, and actually in Newark, New Jersey.
Okay,
Yeah, so I was born in Newark, New Jersey. Now, my biological mother, she didn't really necessarily want kids, right? She
okay,
didn't want to have kids. I was told a bunch of different things, like as I was growing up, like what actually happened, how did I actually end up here, where was I actually born. I didn't know none of that stuff for a long time. I actually didn't even know I was adopted, so I was like in first grade. But so what ended up happening is my mother was dealing with a man, and she was not necessarily sure if this was my father or not.
okay,
So in order to protect me, she was living in South Carolina actually at this time. She was living down south. In order to protect me, she moved back up north,
hmm
and she gave me to a close relative. So it's actually her first cousin. So it would be my second cousin, but that's my mother. That's who raised me.
okay,
Biologically, is my second cousin. So she was afraid that that something would happen to her if this man found out that I wasn't hers. So I mean that I wasn't his. So she went up north. She had me. She birthed me. Went right back down south. Went
okay.
right back down south. People were asking like, what happened to the kid? What happened to the baby? she was telling some people that she had a miscarriage because she didn't want something to happen to her physically if he found out that it wasn't, I wasn't his child, and I actually ended up not being his child. So she did it out of love for me. I never actually had a conversation with her before, ever in my entire life.
Okay.
But I know that what she did was out of love for me, so I'll have nothing but love for her.
Yeah, man, that's real, man. And obviously to have that and not hold any animosity or anger, man. And
Yeah.
I mean, again, I know life takes twists and turns, and we play the hand that we dealt. You know what I mean? And we try to flip them cards around to our advantage, man. It sounds like that's what you did, and I think even just a little bit that you just shared, man, that just says something about yourself, man. Just to kind of, like I said, take whatever frustrations or disappointments or even finding out in first grade. Can I ask? I mean, I know I'm just telling about my business,
Yeah,
but
no.
how did you find out first grade? Was it by accident? You overheard somebody, or?
Listen, check this out, man. I don't even know if it was in first grade. All I know is this woman, me, my brother, and my sister we was waiting outside. We were waiting to get picked up, right? We were waiting to get picked up. And the woman, she came outside. We like, yeah, we just waiting for my mom to pick us up. And she looking at me like, your mom? Like, she looking at me like that. She like, oh, yeah. Sorry, sweetheart. I'm confused. Like, that's basically telling me that that's not my mother.
Okay.
Like, it's the first time I ever heard of that. Which is crazy. So that's how I figured out that I was not necessarily adopted, but I figured out that my mother wasn't actually I didn't actually come out of her. Okay. But yeah. Also, side note, man, everybody called me Khalif. Everybody know that's my name, but in my household, like my close ones, nobody called me Khalif. Nobody has ever called me that. Everybody called me everybody called me Fahir.
Fahir, okay.
Everybody called me Fahir. Actually, I heard a bunch of different stories about how I got the name. All I know is that I was born really, 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 really early in the morning.
Okay.
And in Islam, actually, I'm not Muslim, but in Islam, there's a really early morning prayer called Fajr. I think. I'm sorry if I'm saying that.
No, Fajr. I know. I'm Muslim. That's why. I'm
for real.
You. Yes.
Yeah. So my mom took a spin on that name and just I was Fahir. Like everybody called me at the crib at home. Everybody called me Fafa. So that's Fahir Fafa.
All right. That's good stuff, man. And obviously, I know the name being Arabic and everything else. So I'm glad you did say that again, because I probably was going to ask you, but obviously in college things come up, man. I mean, again, I get that. Like I said, I'm called Ibn. Like my first name is actually Quran, like the Holy Quran. Yeah, so that's actually my first name. So when I hear Quran,
I did notice that.
Yeah, when I hear Quran, that's people know that's like when I decided to become an adult. And after the college and all that, I was like, you know what? This life I'll be called Quran. But when I hear Ibn, somebody knows me. They know that kid coming up. So like I said, I still get a little melancholy. So when I hear Quran now, I always joke even with my mom too. Like she even struggles to say Quran. She don't call me Quran. Everything's Ibn. So it's funny sometimes too, because my wife, she calls me Quran. But for my mom to say she starts stuttering and everything, like she didn't give birth to me and know my name. So, but it's all good though. It's all good. But back with you, man. I mean, I know you mentioned brothers and sisters. How many siblings you got?
Man, if I'm missing some. Like, I got brothers. I got a few brothers and sisters I don't even really know, and some of them I connected with on Facebook.
Okay.
Like a while back, but I never really got back in contact with them. But the ones that I know for certain, it's about 6 of us. It's about 6 of us, and some of them come from biologically my mother. One, my mother who raised me, her son who basically raised me.
Okay.
His name is Eric Dawkins, and that's my big brother. That's my love. That's my first words was brother because of him.
Yeah.
And then I have a few other brothers because my mom got married.
Okay.
And those family is family, like you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Those are my brothers too. So yeah, I got quite a few siblings.
Yeah, you deep here. Nah, you deep. So you got obviously from South Carolina to North Montclair. So you up in
Yeah.
Montclair, man. Like this, how was it for you, man? Your upbringing, man. This what you would. I mean, it
Oh
sound like you're
man.
pretty deep here, man. Whether it was sports or just being a kid, man.
Listen,
How was it for you?
man, man, it was like it was triumphant for me because I was not always like I didn't roll with a lot of people. Like I didn't have like a huge large crowd. My mom just kept me really humble. And I
Okay.
find now, even as a 26-year-old, and I still say kid because I'm still kid like in some ways. But a man, I'm just learning.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the times, um, I was trying to find my way. I was trying to find my way. I was trying to find my way. I knew my mom sat me down in fourth grade. It was like, if I hear, I don't have no way to pay for you to go to school. Like, I'm not gonna be able to pay for you to go to college. We living in Montclair, New Jersey, and my mother, like, we was comfortable in East Orange. Like, at some point, I lived in East Orange, and my mom was comfortable there, but she moved out of there for us, for her children,
Okay.
um, because she wanted us to have access to better education and better opportunities. Um, so that's what she did, and we was just, we had a lot of breaks, a lot of things, and my mom struggled and struggled and struggled. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, it was some nights where I knew that my mom was like not eating sometimes, and it just like she was just stressed out.
Mm-hmm.
But it was because she wanted the best for us, and she always did the best for us. So I found my way out and my way to just be a part of community by just playing sports because like I wasn't like the most popular kid growing up. I wasn't like the most likable kid growing up. Like I was a kid who was made fun of. I was the kid um who people didn't think much of until I started to actually play sports. And then it shifted. Like, and I saw that it shifted. Um, but the good thing about that is I never really tried to measure my importance or, you know, my relevancy as based off of how everybody else thought about me. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I was fully content with what I thought about myself and what my family thought about me. So everything else was really a plus. It was really a plus. But it was really hard too. Like high school, it was supposed to be like one of the happiest times, but it honestly was really, really stressful for me because you were under a microscope almost every day. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like everybody watching you, every move, like everything that you do, things you don't do. It's like you got to make the right moves because especially I'm high school, I'm 5'7", barely 5'7", 5'7", um, buck 60, not even that, probably buck 55, buck 50. And like as a small guy, you gotta check all the boxes. Like you gotta do everything right. Like you gotta do everything right.
Yeah.
Or they're not gonna pull the trigger on you. Like they're not gonna give you a scholarship. It's this, that, and the third, and it's not gonna happen for you. But I just stayed faithful and really I played on that field. Like I played every game like it was my last because I wasn't the kid that could go out there and have 2 or 3 catches a game, and be 6 feet, 200 and get a scholarship because of, you know, my what I look like. I didn't pass the eyeball test. I didn't pass the eyeball test. You look at me like, I'm not sure if this guy can play ball. So I just had to work. I just had to work my behind off, man.
Yeah.
Um, and I drew inspiration from a lot of other people around Essex County. Like even though there was a lot of players on East Orange that I watched and I admired from afar. There was a lot of people. I don't know if you remember Rocky. Rocky played at Irvington.
Okay.
Played running back at Irvington High School, and Rocky was like he's a smaller dude, but he was really really athletic, really 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 fast. And I watched him a lot. And he had an older, I want to say it was his uncle, who played a few years before him. His name was Josh Evans. He went to the University of Florida. He played safety. And I had a conversation with him my freshman year while he was a senior, and I never forgot that conversation. And I just knew that I had to work my way up and continue to just stay humble and stay as humble as a teen kid could stay. You know what I mean?
And I get it, especially everything going on, emotions you growing up. Yeah, I get it. You had a big
don't
school.
Don't get me wrong. As a high school kid, you do feel yourself a little bit, right? You feel yourself because it's your time. But I feel like I stayed as humble as I could for somebody that was in a position. I was always told, like, I would hear kids around the school, and I would hear kids around the way just always saying, man, like, if I was in your position, I'd be doing this, that, and the third, doing this, that, and the third. And I'm like, man, listen, after these games, my mom called me, tell me to come home. Like, I don't even get to go out and do all of that extra stuff, you know what I mean? And rightfully so. My mother knew what she was doing. And at the time, sometimes I didn't understand it at the time. I thought I was being punished, but really I was just being protected.
That's right.
Because I wasn't able to protect myself the correct way at that time. And I didn't notice that until I got older. So I thank her for that. So yeah, it was ups and downs. It was fun, but it was real hard sometimes. I felt like at the end of those games, I was going home and I felt alone sometimes. I love my mother, I love my siblings, but I felt like I was having a kind of experience that I couldn't really talk to everybody about. Everybody couldn't understand it. You know what I mean? They see you play football on Saturday, and they don't realize that it's just a small part of actually who you are outside of that.
Right, absolutely.
So
absolutely. Yeah. Now, even before we touch on a little bit of some more of the high school days, did you play Little League, or did you do anything as far as?
Let me tell you this, man. I started off, first time I ever put the equipment on, my mom brought me some soccer cleats. Right, she brought me some soccer cleats, man. My mom ain't know. Matter of fact,
right, I get it.
Let me correct myself. There was baseball cleats. They were baseball cleats. They were red and black. And
the spikes, the kind of different spikes too, right?
Yeah, those joints, right?
Yeah.
I'm in the second grade, and I was playing for this squad. I don't know what they turned into, but they might have changed their name, but they was the East Orange Falcons. They were the East Orange Falcons. Okay. And my first number I actually got by accident was 7. They gave me 7. And it was just like it was actually like the last number in a jersey bag. Nobody wanted it. So I just took 7. My first time for being on the field or whatever. And I didn't really know too much what I was doing. I was just running around. I just knew to run around. I just knew to give effort. Like I was just an effort player. So that was my first experience. Flag football, East Orange Falcons. Then I didn't play again. Actually, I skipped 3rd and 4th grade. Didn't play at all because we was moving around.
Okay.
I think in 4th grade, it's going from Montclair to East Orange, then back to Montclair. And 5th grade, I played in Montclair. We had something called the Town League, and the Town League was real competitive, man. It was real competitive because you had, the whole town, but the town was broken up into different little teams, which was cool because, it was just fun. And I still didn't, at that point in time, I didn't know what I was doing. I used to actually, my nickname was called the Garbage Man. I was in 5th grade. I'll never forget it. I was a garbage man. All I did was play DN. I was like a backup DN, defensive end, and I was just rushing the passer because it was like towards the end of the game. They called me the garbage man because I would clean this stuff up, man. I was coming off that edge. I was tackling people. I was just effort. I was out there having fun. I still ain't really know what I was doing yet. But then after 5th grade, I got a real, 6th grade was probably like one of my worst years as a youth. I was just doing anything. Like I was never really like a bad kid.
Okay.
I was bad that year. I was horrible that year. My mom kicked me off the basketball team. My mom never let me shoot up for football. Mm-hmm. And after that year, I just took off. Like 7th grade, I came back to Town League and I totally dominated the Town League. I remember that year. Now, I'm in 7th grade, but I was one of those kids that I was really young for my grade.
Okay.
So I was in 7th grade. I was playing against 5th and 6th graders and some 7th graders. But as far as grade wise, I was in the highest grade, but there was kids in 5th and 6th grade who were older than me. So I was playing with them. This was my first year really getting my feet wet.
Okay.
The rest of the town was kind of like, man, he playing for the town. He doing this against them. Da, 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 da.
Now,
And like,
can I
yeah,
ask real quick? I apologize. I just want to make sure I'm making a connection here. The Town League, this is a side note. I played in Montclair for a little bit. Now, was it Cobras? Because Cobras started to become two different leagues. It was a
yes.
Pop Warner and it was Cobras, right?
So Pop Warner was what Town League turned into.
Got you. Okay.
So 7th grade, my year that I played and I dominated Town League, that was the last year of Town League.
Okay.
Like it was
Oh,
last year.
you shut it down.
Shut it down, and then we became Pop Warner.
Okay.
We became Pop Warner. We became the Bulldogs a year after that.
Got you. Okay. Okay.
And then Cobras was just a whole different league. And the kids in Cobras, like, they just, I don't know. Like, they coaches didn't like me.
Yeah.
The players didn't like me. They just was always saying, oh, he's corny. He doing that against them. And me, I'm just a humble kid. I'm just like, man, I'm just out here playing football. Y'all out here just arguing on. I don't really care. We'll see when it come time.
Yeah, you make a mental note. Yeah, you make a mental note.
We gonna see who really about all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So we played Town League, that yada yada. We came back the next year, and Pop Warner got age group and group levels. So what people don't know about Pop Warner is they got like an older but lighter rule. A lot of the times, you can have a kid who's a freshman in high school, and if he's light enough to play Pop Warner his freshman year, he'll play Pop Warner. They do that here in Philly. You got some 9th graders that play that varsity year of Pop Warner, and then 10th, 11th, 12th grade, they play high school football. That's how they do it out here in Philly sometimes.
Okay.
So that year, like I said, I'm a little bit young for my grade. So that year I came into that, and right off the bat, my Town League coach was actually coaching Bulldogs, Montclair Bulldogs. He was coaching like the JV team, not the varsity team, not the highest, but JV. So I started off with him. Even though I was in 8th grade, I was playing with them because I was young enough to play with them and I was light enough to play with them. I was a small kid. So I actually was doing so well with him that the varsity coach was like, yo, like, why you don't want to just come up here and play with us? Like, why are you playing with them?
Okay.
But I was comfortable with that coach at that point in time. I'm 7th grade. I think I was 12, probably 12, 11 or 12, couldn't remember. So I ended up staying with him for a little bit, and then they plucked me. They was like, no, you coming up here with us. We need a quarterback. We need you to play. That year was bad. That year was really, really, really bad. I kid you not. That year was horrible. It was our first year in Pop Warner.
Okay.
We played Roselle the first game. We smacked them. I think it was like 21-0. I'll never forget that. And it's a kid from my town. His name is Dallas England. And Dallas England was a really, really good athlete. Like, honestly, I think to this day, if he would have played football instead of basketball, I think he would be in the NFL right now. That's what kind of athlete he was.
Yeah.
Like as a safety or corner, he was real athletic. He was big for his age. He was like 5'10", 5'11", like while we was in 8th grade.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't get no taller than that, which I think might have affected him in basketball a little bit. I'm not sure. All I know is the kid was just a crazy, crazy good athlete. I had him at the receiver. He got hurt the second week, broke his arm. Next week after that, we had another player on my team who I grew up with. His name is Stephon Marshall. He broke his arm. So our two best players on defense gone.
Yeah.
And he's our starting running back gone. Starting receiver gone. So it was a really hard year for us, man. I think we won one game. We won the first game, and that was it. We didn't win no other game. Every other game was competitive. But it was hard. It was hard. It's nothing like what the program is now. The program has come a long, long way.
Good stuff. I'm glad it
And
did.
it was humbling experiences for me because at that point in time, I was young, but I was also, there's no moral victories when you lose, but there are some type of victories where you really assess like what's actually happening. And a lot of the times you didn't even pay attention to it as the games were going on, but the teams weren't that much better than us. It's just we were just giving up. Like our team was just giving up. We weren't trying. So at the end of the game, they would just pull away from us. So that was my youth situation. I went into high school and even I had no idea what was going to happen.
Yeah.
I had no idea what was going to happen. I had a guy who was trying to help me get into some prep schools.
Okay.
And I was on a prep school craze. Like I was like, I don't want to go to.
It was big. It was big. It still is, but it was big. Yeah.
It was real big. I was like, I'm about to just go to like Seton Hall or one of these schools. And my mom was like, no, you're not. You're going to Montclair. Like, you're not going to
Yeah.
So I ended up going there freshman year, man. I was crushing it. I didn't even know what position I was going to play. Honestly, I thought I was going to play like running back or whatever. And the way our freshman squad was set up was it was just so many different athletes that honestly throughout a game, I could switch through the slot to running back to quarterback. So I was a starting quarterback for our freshman team, but throughout the game, I would take at least 10 or 20 snaps at receiver and running back too. So freshman year was fun. And then sophomore year, that's when I knew I was like, I think I really got something here. Got something here.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Sophomore year, that's when I knew. I was like, I think I could do this. I think I could really do this.
That was before the season or after the season you had?
It was during the season.
During the season?
During the season, it was, I ain't gonna say nobody's names, man. But it was during the season because I was, as a sophomore, I was playing JV, but I was a starting kickoff returner for varsity.
Okay.
And we had punt return. I was starting punt returner as well. But honestly, our coach was so old school that we had two people back deep on punt return. That's really rare. You don't really see that. So I had a senior who was really good, and it was me at the other hash. So basically, to make it easy, like if it's to the left hash, he gonna return it. If it's to the right hash, I'm gonna return it. Like simple like that. And it was the second game of the season, and they kicked me that thing, man, and I took it back to the crib. Because Wayne Valley, I never forget. I was a sophomore. I'll never forget it. I was like, oh yeah. I was like, I think I got something.
I'm here now. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was a few seniors and these boys could run. These boys could run, Ibn. Yeah. They was fast. Like they was fast. And I ended up racing a few of them after practice. And I'm like, I'm just as fast as these kids. And I'm a sophomore. I'm like, yeah, I think it's on. I think I really, really knew. When I had raced this really, really, really fast kid, he actually went to Syracuse to play lacrosse, and everybody, they was hyped. They were trying to figure out like who was faster out of the both of us. And I raced him the first time, we tied. I raced him the second time, I beat him. The last time, I'm gonna give it to him. I think he edged me out. But the point for me was like, all right, he's about to go to college. He's going to play lacrosse at Syracuse.
Right.
He's fast, shifty, and when you run, you can't see yourself run. But when you see somebody else run, you can see them. And I would just look at how fast he was, and I was like, you know what? I gotta have more confidence in myself because that boy be blazing. He's real fast, and I can run and keep up with him. So at that point, I was like, yeah, I think I got something here.
Yeah, that had to be a good feeling, man. And even with that being said, because you're in a sports town, sports school, you know what I mean? So like, things are a little different over there, especially when y'all winning. And obviously being at Montclair, you're supposed to win. And they don't expect nothing different, nothing less than that. You're supposed to win. So how was it for you as you mentioned, like, I got something, teenage years,
Yeah,
everything going on, man? Like how was you just juggling everything?
I wasn't.
Yeah.
At first I wasn't. So sophomore year, I was really, 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 I was confused, man. It was so
Mhm.
much going on. It was like I'm traveling to these games as a sophomore, and like I didn't necessarily fit in with everybody. Like
Okay.
I fit in with them when we got on the field, but like I didn't do everything that every other kid did. Like I wasn't at these parties. I wasn't creating that bond that these kids had.
Mhm.
I didn't really have it with them because I didn't do those things. Like after games, like my senior, like they would go to Fridays and all that. Like I wasn't there. I didn't have that experience with these kids. So I had to figure out other ways to bond with my teammates so that they could trust me.
Okay.
Um, and I really just did that by, you know, just by leading by example. Like I wouldn't really talk too much. I don't say too much. Even to this day, I really don't try to talk too much. But I think what really, really, really helped me was realizing that I'm not in control of everything, but I can control the things I can control, really, really, really owning on those things. And that's what I really did. Um, I was focused, as like I said, as focused as a team could be, but I had fun. I really had fun with it. I had fun um, making mistakes. I had fun, you know, just playing ball. I was just really like about playing ball, man. And I was just about getting out. Like there's also like this a misconception about kids that come up in schools like in areas like Montclair. I could tell you, I know about 15 kids I went and played with an all-star game after I graduated high school that came from these areas, from different cities and different places, impoverished areas that had way more money than I had growing up, that had way more things than I had growing up.
Yeah.
Um, and I could tell, even me being from Montclair, I could tell that these kids still grew up and they had more physical things than I had. And no, those things aren't important, but they do make a kid feel good about themselves. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Like I didn't have that stuff. Like I didn't have that. I had to find a way to make it happen because my mom was prioritizing other things as she should have
Mhm.
that really was going to help me get to the next level. She was prioritizing other stuff. I may not have had the nicest clothes. I didn't have the nicest sneakers. I might have to share stuff with my brother here and there. Um, but I knew it was for a good cause. And I just try to stay as humble as possible, man. I just try to stay as humble as possible because I knew like as quickly as I have it, it could be taken away from me.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to, and I knew how many kids, like you said, my kids were football town. I knew how many kids was watching me. You know what I mean? A lot of the kids I knew that came before me, they didn't think about that. They didn't think about how what they do off the field, like kids are people watching that.
Yeah.
People can see you, people are doing that, you know what I mean? And I knew that kids was watching me. I knew the kids were looking up to me. I knew that kids were like, that's Khalif. Like, so I took that and I knew it was a responsibility for me to uphold. And I knew it was like, hey, I gotta start a, we already have a tradition, but I gotta fill the gas up a little bit because we losing it. Like that my sophomore year, which is 2010 football season, my player was, matter of fact, a lot. It was '09. It was '09. We was horrible. We were horrible. We was getting embarrassed. East Orange embarrassed us. All these teams were just embarrassing us. And I was like, I'm not letting this happen no more. Like if I gotta run a ball and scored, we're not letting this happen anymore.
Mhm.
Um, I just had a sense of pride within myself and for my people, you know, for my family, for everybody that I knew was coming behind me that like I got a standard to uphold, you know what I mean? And like I say, everybody always talk to me about football. I'm like, yeah, I was just honestly, I just got the torch and I just held it for as long as I could to
Yeah.
pass it to somebody else for them to do their thing too, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it was good, and it went well. And it just felt so good coming back to the school after that and just seeing like the change in that me and my teammates helped create that
Mhm.
culture that we helped cultivate at our school.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
It
no.
was amazing.
Nah, it wasn't. Then, like I said, I think obviously junior year you really get rocking and rolling between that, and then I even just and don't forget you squeezed in track there. So did you run track all 4 years, or did you
Let me
or
tell
you
you this,
you,
man.
you got cornered to doing it?
Let me tell you this, man. So freshman year, I come in, play ball. Everybody like, yeah, run track, run track, run track. I'm like, I'm not running no. I'm like, I'm not running track. I'm like, all right, man, I'll go run. So I was running track my freshman year indoor, winter.
Okay.
Man, I had the hardest coach, Coach Coop. I don't even remember this lady's first name, but Coach Coop, if I'm not mistaken, I think she went to Columbia to run like a
Okay.
while back. And Coach Coop was the truth.
Yeah.
She was the truth. She was me so hard that my freshman year, after like the first meet, I ran like novice meets and I was running freshmen,
Mm-hmm.
and I was winning. I was a freshman. I was winning these meets, and I stepped up to varsity and I was running a 55 meter dash, and I went to a Seton Hall Invitational,
Mm-hmm.
and I was running. I made the finals, but in the finals, I got smoked. I'll never forget it. It was bad. It was real bad. And honestly, my confidence was ruined. I was ruined because that had never happened to me before. That had never happened to me before, but it was the big boys, it was the seniors, it was the kids that was going to Division I schools to run track. And I didn't even have spikes. I didn't even have spikes. I was running the freshman track without no spikes. I had somebody had a pair of extra track shoes and just gave them to me, and I was running in them without spikes in them. Like, it was crazy. And I was running, but I ended up like dropping out my confidence. I was just like, I'm gonna just go train for football. So I was just in the weight room,
Okay.
and there was this coach named Coach Spivey. Coach Spivey, he took off a winter. He didn't run. He didn't coach in the winter, but the spring he came back. Now, my uncles, Marlon and Frank Herbin, they actually ran track at the high school at Montclair High School. It was really good. Marlon was really good at the long jump, but Frank was like the speedster. So their coach was Coach Spivey, who was still there. Now, they're my uncles, but they honestly old enough to be like my granddad. Like, they older. He had been coaching for a long time. Like, he in his late 60s, 70s. So he talked to my friend. He like, man, he like that hurt. He tell you bad. He'll never call me Khalif. Everything Herbin, because that's how he is. Everything Herbin. And y'all go in there and tell Herbin, I said, go get his shoes, and he running track. He gonna run for me, and that's just it. That's what we doing.
Yeah.
So I get out there, run my freshman year. Be pretty all right. It was a humbling experience because I'm not running with the young boys. I don't run those. I never was running like with the freshmen or the novice after Coach Coop. Everything was straight varsity.
Mm-hmm.
So everything was straight varsity. And if I was getting cooked, I was just getting cooked. And he knew I was fast enough to eventually catch up.
Okay.
So I ran my freshman year, boom. Come back my sophomore year, killing indoor season. Still not running the times I really want to run because my start was just bad. Like, I was just bad with starting at first. And it's crazy because on the football field, I really got good acceleration, but just the technique and stuff, I just wasn't getting it yet. So sophomore year it was all right. It was okay. Junior year, I missed my whole entire junior year for track. Came out for time trials in track and tore my hamstring in the winter. I did not run again. I didn't run again until senior year. I didn't run again until senior year. So this is a crazy story. I kid you not. My senior year, going into my senior year, we played St. Peter's the first 3 or 4 games on my season. I was so paranoid that I had a hamstring sleeve on my left hamstring. I had it wrapped up all tight because it was not fully healed going into football season. So for conditioning for football season, my senior year, I didn't do gassers. I did like something called 110s. So I would just run straight in the line. My coaches was concerned about me
cutting, moving
changing
sideways.
direction.
Yeah.
Right. Because my hamstring still wasn't fully healed. My junior year, we had the best shot at a 4x1. My 4x1 team, they went to states and placed 6th place the 4x1. And I was the anchor, the fastest 100-meter sprinter we had, and I didn't run. I didn't run. So we definitely would have been top 3 in the state that year had I ran. So I missed my whole junior year for track. My senior year, my first meet running in 2 years, I went sub 11. I ran 10.9, like 10.9.2, and I was Essex County champion. Because that was my first meet in 2 years. So had I not missed those opportunities to actually train and run, my times would have probably been a lot faster. But I wasn't. But track, people don't understand track it's not like football. You can't just get on the field and kind of like do your thing and people won't notice. Track, you got to be practicing every day. Like it's a different kind of animal. Like if you could run a really fast time one week and the next week not run that fast time because you wasn't training that week. Like it's really, really like hit or miss with track. And that my Coach Bobby, he was training me. He's like, all these little dual meets that we had, like the meets that really didn't count. He was like, I was trying to run. I was like, come on. I need to see where I'm at. Like I ain't run 100 meters since my sophomore year.
Yeah.
Sophomore year at counties, I ended up, I think I got 4th, but top 6 get medaled. So I medaled because I was 4th as a sophomore. And then the preliminary rounds, I had the fastest times. I had the number 1 time throughout the whole Essex County for that meet. But my final, I didn't do so well. I got 4th though, so it was cool. But my senior year, I took it. It was my first meet. Went sub 11 first meet.
Yeah.
And I only ran. I think I ran two meets my senior year. I qualified for states for the meet of champs. Didn't even run because I was so concerned about football. Went and played in the All-Star game and missed and didn't run states my senior year. So
yeah, speaking of that's just the magic that just continue, man. I'm gonna take you back to that late summer or fall, whatever, when you had to strap that helmet back on, man. I mean, you can't even fathom like making something like what you did up, man. I mean, but did you know it's just gonna be showtime?
which you talking about that first game senior year or?
Yeah, same for you. Talk about your first game, just that season in general.
I was highly motivated. I was seeing kids. You know what? You might take this the wrong way, but I was seeing kids I played with, we played against, and in the back of my mind, I was like, man, why am I not getting all these offers these kids are getting?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? Like, I done been at 7-on-7s with this kid. I done played against this kid. I done practiced with this kid. I done like, so what's going on? And then we started off playing a really big game. We played at Rutgers. We played St. Peter's, and the equivalent of Instagram was Facebook back then for the kids. So they was on Facebook cutting up. They was going crazy. They was like, man, I got this kid. He's the size of a fourth grade girl. Like how he gonna do this? How he gonna do that? They was talking crazy. And I was nervous. I was nervous before games. Like sometimes I would go into the locker room, we would warm up, we would come back in, and I would just go into the bathroom and I would just like throw up a little bit in the garbage can because I was nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Not because I didn't think I was prepared, but I honestly thought I was over prepared sometimes. I thought I was over analyzing what I needed to do.
Yeah.
So after we played St. Peter's, and they got about like 6-7 Division I kids on their team, on their defense. And I'm lighting them up like the way I did. I was just like, honestly, I couldn't do nothing but go home and cry that night, man. I couldn't go home and do nothing but cry that night. Because everybody got to see like what I was doing, but they didn't see the work and everything that I was like doing before that. They didn't see how I was on my grass and on my lawn as a kid, just throwing the ball up and down to myself for 100 hours. My mom go try to find me in a room, and then I'm outside in the front porch just throwing the ball up and down at 10:30 to 11 o'clock at night till it get dark.
Mm-hmm.
But these are things that I had a vision of it for a long time. Like there were things that I did in that game that I had already saw myself doing way before it happened, years before it happened. So everything was just, I had an extreme amount of confidence in myself because I knew how much I prepared. And I was just like, I just can't let nobody stop me. I can't let anyone stop me. And I'm sorry. I know that for every one touchdown that this kid scores for across the town, I got to score 4 so that somebody can look at me the right way. Somebody can look at me. You know what I mean? So I was just going as hard as I possibly could. And people didn't realize, like, a lot of those games my senior year, I think I played in maybe 3 full games. I didn't play. Most of the games I didn't play the second half at all.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because I wasn't 100%. I was not 100% my senior year. I had a lingering hamstring issue, so I was never 100%. My coach would always take me out. So, yeah, it was crazy, man. It was, you know what? You know who else motivated me a lot?
Who's that?
She ran track, but I'm trying to figure out for what school. She was a couple years older than me. I think you had her on here. I think it was Dominique Booker.
Dominique, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was fun, man. I used to watch everybody because I like people, I like competitors.
Okay.
I used to see her warm up. I used to watch her warm up in the way that she just carried herself before she stepped onto the track.
Okay.
Like, she knew she was going to go out there and do what she had to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I used to watch Dominique Booker, and I used to run like at a few of the same meets as her because she was at Immaculate, I think.
Right, she went to Immaculate.
You know, Montclair Immaculate. So, yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, she used to be toasting our kids, our girls. But she was the truth. So I just used to, certain athletes, I used to just see how they carry themselves, and I put some of that into my repertoire, man. That's how I carried myself.
Yeah, and like I said, it's crazy for you not only played 2 or 3 full games that year, man. 40-something, I don't know, was it 40-something touchdown? I don't remember exactly. And, it was crazy.
Man, that's a myth, the legend. I don't even honestly like. That was a single season. My sophomore year, I think I scored 5 touchdowns when I touched the ball maybe like 12 times the whole year. 12 times. And I was thinking about it. I was just like, for as much as I did, I probably had an opportunity to do more. I probably could have did a lot more. But I'm just humbled by it. I look back and I just know it was God, honestly, because sometimes I didn't know how I was doing. Like, people ask me, how you do that? I'm just like, honestly, I just see colors and I react. I know that if my color is blue and I see that you're red and you're in front of me, I obviously got to avoid you or run through you or break your tackle or something. You know what I mean? Everything on the football field just happened so fast. I honestly I just was reacting, and I was just doing, a lot of it was just God God-given ability, man. It was God-given ability.
Nah, absolutely, man. How tough was that North Bergen game, man? It's come up a little short.
Man, that game was rough because that game I was in my worst condition.
Okay.
So Montclair used to play a Thanksgiving game against Bloomfield every year.
Mm-hmm.
And I had made a really, really, really bad decision in that game. I think I threw an interception to like a random overhang, like outside linebacker. It was just a random interception. And I pressed for the rest of that half I was in the game because I felt like I was like, I'm not supposed to throw no interceptions. Like, I don't even know how I just did that.
Mm-hmm.
And I bounced to the outside on one of these plays. And I was about to score. And the guy, he had horse collared me like real, real bad. Like when I still got the DVDs. When I go back and look at that play, I don't know how I stood up after that. Like it literally like I tore my whole knee up.
Yeah.
But I bounced right back up. Really, it was my ankle. I had like a really, really bad high ankle sprain, like almost to the point where the week leading up to the game, I could barely put pressure on it. Like it was real weird. Like
Mm-hmm.
I had to like pill myself up, like take a lot of pills. But I feel like I shouldn't have even been playing in that game. We was about to play the state championship game. We could have won the game as, real easy. We didn't need to play in that game.
Mm-hmm.
So I kept it hush hush because like I'm a small kid. I always been a small kid. I'm tough. I was always tough. I always took a lot of hits. I'm a smaller kid. I was like, we lost last year in the state championship. I ain't trying to hear none of that. Like I don't want to hear none of that, man. I gotta get ready for this game. But I knew something was wrong. I knew it was wrong. And we warming up in the stadium and all this. And I'm like, I'm running, I'm warming up. I'm just like, I just can't run. I can't run right.
Okay.
I had it heavily taped and spatted up, but I still couldn't run right. And I just knew throughout the game, like I was breaking, like I was bouncing to the outside, I was breaking, and a kid would like shoelace tackle me or grab me from behind. And it was normally like a tackle that I would normally break, but I just wasn't breaking it that day. Like they were just hitting my ankles, and I was like, I don't know what's up with me today, but I don't know. I just feel like it was God's plan. I don't know why. I just feel like it was just happened to be that way. It was a very humbling experience because at our team, we was walking around like we already won a state championship. We was already walking around like we won a state championship, and it was crazy because we hadn't been like that the whole year. We had been like, just like this was the year of revenge for us. Like we was just like on it, 11-0. Like
Mm-hmm.
we was on it. Everybody, everything that was in front of us was just getting smashed. That's just what it was had to happen. Like we were showing no mercy. And for some reason, we just had our chests out so big, like we just already knew we won that game. And they had other plans, and they was dogs. I'm gonna tell you that. They was dogs. They played hard. They played like they was never gonna play football again. And some of them kids was never playing football again. And honestly, they had their championship vacated because they had players on their team that wasn't supposed to be on there and all that. But that don't mean nothing to me. Like you stepped on the field, you had that North Bergen jersey on, and you beat us. Listen, you go
I hear
ahead.
you. Yeah, I hear you.
It was really heartbreaking, and it was really heartbreaking because I had gotten hurt during the game. It was a non-contact injury. I was bouncing to the outside, and I could have just ran the clock out. But I was in so much pain when I bounced to the outside. I felt my ankle just give on. It just gave on me. Like I had never felt in that kind of pain in my life, and I was running on it, and it just gave on me. It felt like I just like broke. It felt like it was broken, but really it was like a high ankle sprain. And actually, I found out years later. The quarterback from Alabama, his name is Tua Tagovailoa, whatever.
Right, I know you're talking about.
He had the same injury that I had, the same exact injury that I had, and he had to get surgery to repair it so he could play. And then like 3 or 4 weeks. But I just had like a boot on me for like 6 to 8 weeks or whatever. But it was painful. It was horrible. And I remember the roar of the crowd. Like I remember the roar of their crowd. I've actually fell down on their sideline. Like they were going crazy when I got hurt.
Yeah.
Going crazy. I remember that. And I was so frustrated, man. And I was tearing up and I was crying because I knew I couldn't play after that. I was so frustrated and I knew I couldn't play after that. And honestly, not even because I couldn't play, but I had just a strange feeling in my head that was it. I had it in my head. I just knew at that point when that happened, I was like, this is not happening by accident. Like these kids are making too many plays on their side, and then I just got hurt. I had a mental error. My coaches have always taught me, end of the game, stay in bounds. Even if I was hurt, I should have just slid down in bounds. The clock would have kept running. But I didn't do that. Stop the clock, went out of bounds. And yeah, man, they play hard. They play hard. We made some mental mistakes that we didn't make all year in that game. I fumbled the ball probably. I don't think I fumbled maybe like almost the whole entire year. I think I might have dropped a punt one time against East Orange, but I picked it up and still went 50 after that. But I fumbled the game and I fumbled the ball in that game, and I hadn't done that maybe like the whole entire year.
Yeah.
So, I just don't think our players, including myself, we just was already, getting our fingers sized up. Like we had our own handshakes about us winning the championship and everything. But it was heartbreaking. But all of their players at the end of the game actually came on the sideline and talked to me. And
Okay.
yeah, every single one of their players, I was sitting on the sideline, every single one of those players came over and said what's up to me. And I remember on that bus ride home, I seen kids cry that, and I ain't never seen cry since or before that happened. You know what I mean? Like some of the toughest kids, they were just cheering up. And I remember not crying because on a bus, I didn't cry because I felt like I had to be so strong for other kids. And we had a lot of kids on my team that was never going to play football again.
Yeah.
So it was a lesson learned, man. It was lesson learned. Like the game is won between the lines. The game is won between the lines, not on scouting reports, not on what he said, she said, no matter what nobody's saying, the game is won between the lines. That's always what I thought about after that. Listen, you know what I mean? Nothing that happens before the game can win you the game.
Nah, that's real, man. That's real.
They deserved that. They deserved it, man. They deserved it.
That's real. Even years later, to even say that and get them, they just do that. Nah, that's real though, man. I know. Even with all that being said, man, more accolades are pouring in, man. Just like crazy. Obviously team success highlights that, but obviously individual success that you did. Like when you heard that you was gonna be New Jersey's Player of the Year, man, how'd that hit
you? Man, I was humbled. I was humbled because New Jersey is just like Jersey different.
Yeah.
Jersey, we different, especially on the athletic side. It's a lot of fantastic players from the state of Jersey.
Yeah.
And honestly, just to see that the state had recognized my efforts was crazy. Like I'm at a photo shoot getting pictures, and I'm like, dang, this is crazy. Like, what is this? It was crazy, man. It was just like such a humbling experience, and I had never thought that I was going to be in that position because I didn't do it for that. That's the thing. I never did it for the awards and the accolades for people to say this and that about me. I did it because I loved it, and I did it because like I had an opportunity to play the sport that I loved since I was a kid. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and it was fun, it was exciting, and it was everything that people thought it was, but it also, I didn't do it to get a pat on the back. I didn't do it for people to say this, that, and
Hmm.
the third about me. I did it because I genuinely enjoyed it. Like, right, I went home just probably about a week or so ago. A friend of mine, he actually ran a big Juneteenth party
Okay.
in Jersey City, and he had like a an event for people in the city in Montclair, and you
Hmm.
know, a few of the old football players and kids that I graduated in my class, we came back and we played football, and we played in the park. I had just as much fun playing in the park like that as I did
Yeah.
on the actual football field, because it's just the simple things, man. Like,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? I'm simple. I'm simple,
Yeah.
man. Just something, when I run a 5 yard out route and somebody throws me the ball and I catch it, like I just get joy from that. I just get happy about that. It's therapeutic for me, man. It always was. It always was therapeutic for me. Um, and
Yeah, I can
nothing,
see that. I could definitely see that.
yeah.
I could definitely see that, man. So how crazy, I mean, again, does it get this whole recruiting for you here? I mean, again, I know folks, you talked earlier even about the whole height thing, all that nonsense. I mean, so what obviously other things just taking toll or taking shape here. How did that whole process work out?
Um, so man, I got a lot of like FCS schools,
Okay.
um, FCS schools, and I didn't mind those. Honestly, I really didn't mind those. But I honestly chose to go to a bigger school, not because of even myself, but honestly, it was that too was for kids after me. That what too was for kids after me, because I wanted them to see that it was achievable. Like it was a
Yeah.
like no matter how small you are, no matter, you can go to these kind of schools. You can get this kind of education. You can have these kind of athletic opportunities, this kind of educational opportunities. So it was it wasn't even about me at that point, because if it was about me, I honestly probably would have chose a little bit different than what I did.
Okay.
Um, I definitely would have chose a little bit different than what I did. But that recruitment process is no joke. That recruitment process is no joke, because for some of us, like some of the kids I know, like you ain't going to school if you don't get no scholarship.
Right. Yeah.
For every kid I went to Montclair, you think because I went to Montclair High School, my mom got money to pay for me to go to school? She did not. She don't. I'm going to community college if I don't get no scholarship. If I
Hmm.
don't go to play football. So that was just that was it felt like life or death at that point. It really did. And honestly, I didn't like it too much, because football was a game for me. Like football was an opportunity for me. It was a game for me. And I was like, oh, you mean I could play this and get my education paid for and not have to have student loans? Okay, I'll sign up for that. I'll do that. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like it was fun for me. But the recruitment process, I wouldn't wish that upon nobody, especially if things ain't working out for me. I didn't I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't know where I was going or what I was doing. And I had a few late offers. Like I had University of Arizona give me a scholarship, like probably like a week before signing day.
Okay.
My mom still got that frame somewhere.
Hmm.
Um,
Did you go visit anywhere else, or did you?
um, nah, unofficial stuff, yeah, unofficial things, but never for a visit. Um, but I just see that's the thing about me. I wasn't too hyped off of that. I was
Yeah.
never one
Yeah.
of those kids that was just like, oh, I'm just gonna go to this official. Like I was never, it was never about the glitz and the glamour for me. Like I see a lot of kids now, even from my school that that I went to, and other schools from around Jersey and stuff. It's like sometimes it's like if you're gonna be about the glitz and the glamour on the gram and all and Instagram and do all this, like you gotta put your money where your mouth is when you actually playing on the field. Like, you know what I mean? You gotta sometimes I feel like people like it's just like in real life, man. People just they want to look like they got it so bad rather than actually going to get it.
Yeah.
They want to appear like they got it. I was never into that. I was never into that.
Mm-hmm. Now I know the root of all evils ain't money no more, man. It's attention. It's attention.
Ooh, there it
Yeah,
is.
it has attention, man.
There it is, man.
I know, man. Obviously, you get rock and roll, you get the temple, man. It's harder feeling where temple's at, man. Like,
Yeah,
how was not even athletically? I know it was adjustment there, but just
yeah.
socially and growing, like, for you to be away from the crib, like this, those first couple of months, man. How was it for you?
17. I left the crib at 17, man. I don't. Man, I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing. I came in freshman year, fully focused.
Okay.
Um, I was one of the few freshmen to actually step on the field and actually see playing time and actually play.
Mm-hmm.
But in my heart of all hearts, I truly believe that like love Temple to death. The systems never fit like my skill set though. Like
Okay.
it just never fit my skill set. And it's a lot of it's a lot of it's a lot of things that go on that don't have anything to do with football
Mm-hmm.
at the next level.
Mm-hmm.
Take it or leave it, like you, and it's just what comes with the game. You gotta know how to play the game. And when new coaches came in and all of that, I was I was confused, man. I was confused a lot of that. At first, I was like, all right, am I playing running back, playing receiver? And I play both, which I'm doing with me, which I'm not doing with me. So I was confused, man. I honestly, I feel like at a few points during my time at Temple, I feel like I lost myself a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like I lost myself, and I feel like I didn't have anybody to talk to about it. So I got discouraged a lot. I really got discouraged a lot. I ain't gonna lie to you. I got discouraged a lot
Mm-hmm.
because I'm a kid it's been an immense amount of pressure on me since for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
So I was internalizing a lot of different things. Internalizing a lot of different things. I got hit with a few crazy serious injuries. The concussions was a real thing. Like,
Yeah.
it was a real thing for me. So the Temple actually medicaled me, and I had contemplated whether or not I wanted to transfer and go play, football play at a different school. Actually, my old coach who was at Boston Colleges, he offered me a scholarship to come to his school. As long as they cleared me medically, then I would be able to play. Something happened with and they don't have this rule anymore. So I would have had to sit out back then.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't want to sit out. It's gonna mess with my I didn't want to sit out. I wanted to go back to directly playing. And now you wouldn't have to do that. If you transfer the way I transferred, you could play right away. You could play like immediately.
But you was definitely gonna transfer if all that worked out.
Yeah. I was going to because I feel like my relationship with some of the coaches was strained a little bit. Like because they had told me some things was gonna happen. I'm doing everything you telling me that's to do, and I'm seeing kids in front of me play that's not better than me.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I say that humbly and respectfully, but I just felt it like I felt a little weird about it. And even the last season I played there, the first few games of the season I was starting in the receiver in the slot. And then I had a little injury, came back,
Mm-hmm.
and then after I got hurt, it was like a little weird there. But I still love the coaches to death. It's just like the relationship was just different, man. It was just different. And I don't have no hard feelings about it. It worked out exactly how God wanted to work out. But like I always say, football is just like a small part of me.
Mm-hmm.
Like about what I do, like I'm always loving, but it doesn't define me, who I am as a person. I'm so much more than that. I'm a father, you know what I mean? I'm a family man, you know what I mean? I love people, you know what I mean? I use that as a tool to reach other people. I will use football as a tool to get to people,
Mm-hmm.
to show them what God can actually do in your life, because He was doing it for me. Like, He was doing it for me. So yeah.
Yeah, now speaking of that, I mean, you talk
Yeah.
that being a little part of your life here. Another part of your life was probably walking across that stage, or however you got the degree mailed to you, or you got it in their hand, but obtaining it. Like,
I walked across that stage, man. I walked across
okay,
that stage. I wasn't missing that opportunity for nothing.
okay,
For nobody, man. Because I don't know too many people in my family that graduated college.
yeah,
But I found a way to make it happen. You know what I mean? And it was semesters where I had to withdraw from classes. You know what the crazy thing about it is, and even to this day, sometimes I forget a lot of things. And I used to have a really, really, really superb memory.
mm-hmm.
And it'll be like certain things that just happened like a few minutes ago, I'll forget it. Like if it's something like high school back then, like I can remember that stuff. But if I walk out of a room and you tell me like, what did I just do when I went in there? Sometimes I forget. I don't know what that's about, but I know that me graduating college was essential because I needed to stick it through. I need to stick
Yeah,
it through. Some people, something happens at school with them, sports don't work out, and they just come back home. It was never happening to me. That was never happening to me. That was never going to be my story. Like, you know what I mean? If I would have got there the first day and something happened and I got an injury, I was staying there. I was going to finish school because I came there to get a degree, and I was never not going to get that.
mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. Now, what you even with that degree, what you doing with yourself now?
I'm a teacher, actually. I teach in Philadelphia. I teach fifth grade English, actually. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Mhm.
How's that been? Just being an educator.
Got some ups and downs.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that.
yeah.
But more ups than downs.
Mm-hmm.
And having the opportunity to uplift and empower people who look like you can't replace that with nothing. You know what I mean? A lot of the times I went to school, I would have conversations and I would be around people who could only understand me to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
Only understand me to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But I know these kids, they trust me. Um, and I trust them and I love them, and I lead with love. So me having the opportunity to you know, just be there and connect with them. Because first you have to connect with kids before you teach them. You can't teach anybody if you don't connect with them first. They won't engage with you, right? They won't engage with you if you don't have some type of connection with them. And then after you connect and engage with them, then you're able to transfer that lesson or whatever you want to transfer to them. You don't know if that kid's ate at home. He had a meal before he got to school, or if he ate last night, right?
Right.
So the first thing you should be asking them, like, is he okay? Like, or is she okay? Like, is everything all right? How you doing? You know what I mean? Just creating conversation that has nothing to do with what you teach. Then you create a culture and an environment that's safe for kids. And that's important. You want your kids to feel safe.
Yes, definitely,
I mean,
definitely.
so I create a safe environment and I get good results from my kids.
Nah, well said, man. What sports, man? Obviously, it's done a lot for you, man. But what sticks with you to this day in regards to playing sports?
That you gotta, man, it's crazy. I heard somebody say this the other day. I don't know what athlete said this, but he said you rent is due every day. Rent is
Mm-hmm.
due every day. Um, Consistency, you know what I mean? Doing something the same over time, right? Anybody can get up and go to the gym one day, right? But you're gonna do that second day when you're sore, when you're tired.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When your arms ain't lifting up the same way they was the day before. You know what I mean? The same day, same thing with you in the classroom, right? You might be able to do all these assignments and hand all these things in one day. How about tomorrow? How about tomorrow when you're a little bit tired, you're a little bit fatigued, and you're
Yeah.
not feeling as good as you did the day before? You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Every day, you're not gonna feel your best, but you can give your best every day. Every day,
Mm-hmm.
you're not gonna feel your best, but you can give your best every day. Whatever it is that you have your best for that day, that's what you gotta give. That's what you gotta give. And it's something I gotta train myself in. Uh, it's something I gotta remind myself of daily. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's a grind. Life is a grind.
No, it is. No,
Life is a grind.
absolutely.
So
Yeah. Vince Lombardi, old coach there, you say fatigue makes cowards of us all.
you right.
You know what I mean? So
Right.
yeah, so
You ain't lying. You ain't lying, man.
you gotta definitely be mindful of that, man. I appreciate this time here, but let me keep a few minutes of you, man, and we give me a couple more minutes because, like I said, I'm just flattered just to be sitting here with you, man. So I'm just gonna
Appreciate
put
that.
put you on the spot a little bit, man. Have some
Yep.
fun before we peel out here. What
Yeah.
obviously when you're in the whip or what have you, man, you a turnpike or a parkway guy?
Like,
Turnpike?
yeah.
Twitter or IG?
Instagram all day, all day.
Let me ask, and I didn't bring it up. How crazy was social media during the height of everything, man? When things just got bananas for how? I mean, you may not have been on it that much, but how was it crazy?
No, it was so. You know what? I remember my parents and everybody complaining about, oh, everybody's on their phone. I'm like, it
Mm-hmm.
was nothing like it is now. You got kids who don't play a snap in a game that have 30 pics of them playing football. Like, I go to the game and watch these games. I don't see you hit the field at all. How is it that you have 30 pics of
Yeah.
yourself on your Instagram page? And if you ain't know no better, you think, you know what I mean? You would think they was all that. You know what I mean? It was crazy. It's
Tension,
crazy.
man. Yeah.
Social media allows you to be whoever you want to be, which is a negative and a positive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Yeah. Now, what favorite park to play in growing up?
Favorite park?
Yeah,
Oh, Glenfield Park.
Linfield. Okay.
Glenfield.
Question: when the Town League played, where did they play their games at?
Nishawayne.
Played in it. They played an instrument. Okay, I was
Yep.
just curious. Never knew that. Now,
Yeah.
football or track?
Whew. People didn't think that this would be a question for me, right? People would think if you knew me or you thought you knew me, you probably would just say, "Oh, then right off the deck, football." But track is just, I don't know. I don't know. It's tighter than what we think, but I'm gonna go football, but not by a lot. I'm gonna go
Okay.
football, but not by a lot. Like
Uh,
my son right now, he running track and he just turned 5 yesterday. And
yeah.
I got him on the track already. Like we got him on the track already.
Nah, that's good stuff, man. They got them club teams for them ages 5, 6. Yeah, absolutely. Temple or Montclair High?
I'm gonna say Temple. I'm gonna say
Mm-hmm.
Temple because Temple made me a man. Like,
Okay.
Temple made me a man. Temple made me like tough,
Mm-hmm.
tough. Like
Okay.
it's easy to be tough when you one of them guys. Like when you just by default, like you more athletic than kids, you more this, you more that.
Mm-hmm.
But like I go out into the real world right now, like and I'm at a job or I'm with people and I hear people complain, they be complaining about regular stuff. And I'm like, all right, why are you complaining? Because they asked us to come in a little bit earlier today. Like, why are you complaining? Like me, like Temple just made me
Yeah.
tough. Temple tough. I'm just
Ah,
through and through.
that's what it is, man. Woodman or Lincoln Field?
Woodman, I ain't really too fond of Lincoln.
Okay. I kind of figured.
Woodman.
Oh, remember that.
Woodman, man. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like the grass at Lincoln.
Quarterback or receiver, or if you want to say slot.
Receiver.
Yeah. How
Receiver.
come?
Uh, I like breaking people down, man. I like breaking people down.
Mm-hmm.
I like running routes and breaking people down, but yeah, definitely receiver.
Yeah. Best game you ever played in your life on any level.
Best game I ever played in my life at any level. Um, People don't even remember this game. Probably don't remember this game. We lost. We lost this game actually. So one of the first records I broke at the high school was like a single game touchdown record. And honestly, like I had 3 touchdowns called back off of penalties that was on the other side of the field, like nothing to do with the. But I think I had 9 touchdowns this day. It was against Irvington. Matter of fact, I lied. I can't remember because I had a game like this against Livingston too.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was. I think it might have been. I think it was Livingston. We lost the game. We lost the game like maybe like 47, 48. Like we couldn't stop our defense. We couldn't stop their wing T. The wing T was crazy that day.
Yeah.
I don't know what was happening. We were just playing undisciplined football. But I literally, it was like every break I could have possibly gotten that game, I was just getting. Like I don't know. They was going for anything that day. So that game was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best team you ever been on?
My senior year, man. My senior year.
Okay. Any game you would like to you like to have back? You might have mentioned North Bergen, but nope.
None of them.
Okay.
None of them. I wouldn't even take that game back. Nope. Because my life wouldn't be. We need that. We need that sometimes.
I'm with you. I hear you. I hear you.
You get punched in your mouth sometimes.
Hey, absolutely. Absolutely. What's best athlete in your era you ever saw?
Oh, best athlete. Ooh, that's rough. That's rough, but I'm gonna give it to Peppers, your Real Peppers, easy.
Okay.
When I really think about it, Real Peppers is
one of East Orange boys that got away, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Now, as far as somebody who should have made it, just anybody that whether it was college or the pro level, whoever, somebody that should have made it.
I should have made it to the league.
You could say the league, or you could say college. It could have been a mishap on his come up or her come up.
There was a kid in my city, man, at Montclair. His name. Listen, he was a freaky athlete. He was. You know what? I'm gonna tell you this. I think the city let him down. There was certain. The thing about it is, in my town, there wasn't a safe space for kids who didn't have a lot of support.
Okay.
Full circle, like around, and I ain't know his whole like ordeal, like everything that happened with him at home or whatever. I know everything wasn't peaches and cream for him now, and I know he would have done well with a lot more support. Like people should have been supporting him instead of just talking down about him and all of this. I feel like the city let him down. There was a kid named Darius Wineglass. Darius Wineglass was like a superb athlete. Like he was a lineman. Like he was a D tackle and like left tackle. Like about 6'4", 6'5", 300 easy. Light on his feet, light on his toes. Like he was that dude. was that dude. Like I was hoping that he just got a little bit more support and a little bit more leeway instead of people just talking down on him. But I think he could have made it. I think he could have made it. He was that good. He was that
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Nah, it sound like it, man. And I know sometimes we talk about deck of cards, but also I just think even the resources are there, but they don't understand the individual sometimes. And
Right.
yeah, it's a lot of little mixed things that people now think differently about when we're talking about maybe somebody in his situation. Absolutely,
Right.
absolutely. What's I know you've done a lot here as far as even at Montclair High. I know there
Yeah.
was something that came out Mount Rushmore here. You know,
Oh
of yeah.
yeah.
Now
Yeah,
who would be
man.
who would be who? I know you made that one, but who would be your Mount Rushmore of like athletes?
You know what? I was surprised I was on that. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna lie to you.
yeah.
I ain't gonna lie to you. But my Mount Rushmore of just we talking about Montclair athletes or football?
Let's do Montclair athletes.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't really pay too much attention to nothing much more than football. I ain't gonna lie to you.
And let's keep it
Um,
football. That's cool.
I'm gonna go with Aubrey Lewis on top of that. I mean, I ain't never put
The Don of Dons, yeah.
I ain't never put myself above that. I'm just not that kind of dude. I'm a classy guy. So I'm gonna put Aubrey Lewis first. I'm gonna put myself second. I'm gonna
Okay.
put myself second. I'm gonna put myself second. I'm gonna have what's this dude's name? He was a beast. He was crazy. He was a receiver. He wore number 9. He was like in the 2000s, I think. His name, I think his last name was Harper.
Okay.
I can't remember his first name, but he was like that. I would think of him somewhere up there. Um, I would think about thinking about
It's the fun part. Somebody gotta get left off. It's the fun part of it.
yeah. So I'm gonna go all first, myself second, and then how many? I mean, how many people would have Rushmore?
Four. So you good.
I'm gonna go Danny Webb. I'm gonna go Danny Webb. He up there. He's right up there. I'm going with him up there. Um, I'm going. Us three, and the last one. I'm gonna go. This is hard. This is really hard. This is really hard. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with Harper. And if I find his last name, I'm gonna tell you. But his last name was Harper, and
That's
I know
okay.
he was a different kind of athlete. Boy, he was something.
Yeah.
He was something.
Yeah,
He
nah.
was
Somebody see this, they'll point them out who the person was. Here.
something. I think it was
Yeah.
like maybe like 99-ish, 2000.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, he went to a pretty good school. It might have been Wake Forest
Mm-hmm.
or one of these schools. But he was different kind of beast.
You the
Yeah.
best to ever come out of Montclair?
No, sir, I'm not.
Okay.
Um, I'm not. I'm not. I am. I'm one of the many greats. No, I'm. Listen, I can hang my hat with him though. I can hang my hat with him, and
In the same
a
coat
lot of
room.
the kids and a lot of the people that I feel like can hang their hat with me. They old heads. They're older. They're older.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put Danny Webb in there for sure because I saw him up close and personal with my own eyes,
Okay.
and that boy was the truth. He was the truth. I liked him a lot. But yeah, and the person who just off my list is a quarterback named Elijah Robinson. Listen, the new school dudes was all right. The new
Yeah,
school
nah,
right
it's tough.
behind me.
Mhm.
E-Rob was nice. He was
Yeah,
nice.
yeah,
So
yeah. I hearing about
yeah,
him as well
he
too.
was nice. He was nice. I mean, he a little, yeah, he was good. He was
Okay,
good.
okay.
Yeah,
Let me ask about. I mean, you, like I said, been so kind to talk about
absolutely.
stuff about your life. What have you here, man? Three at this brief moment in your life, man. What's three of your best moments in your life up to this point?
Whew. The day I found out I was a dad,
Mm-hmm.
a father. Um, when I graduated college,
Yeah.
and um, whew, this is hard.
Man, those probably nothing like those two, man. If that's just two, man, that's great,
Yeah,
man.
the day I figured
Absolutely.
out I was a dad.
Yeah.
Was my the dad. Yeah, that was a different day. It was scary, but it was a big day. And the day I graduated college was,
Yeah.
yeah, I think those were stuff that I
Nah,
can't ever get those
I
days
hear
back.
you, man. Those two things here, being a father and graduating college, I can relate. I understand, man. I totally
Yes, sir.
understand. What's the best part about being Khalif here?
Oh, the best part about me is realizing it's imperfection. Honestly, it's not being
Okay.
perfect.
Yeah.
It's realizing that not being perfect is actually like that's a strength. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? If you had something that was perfect, how much can you relate to that? Like how you know what I mean? How can you reach out and touch that? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? I feel like I'm somebody who people can learn from and learn with. And I'm not so smart that you can't teach me something. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like I'm smart enough to know that I have to listen sometimes. That I gotta listen. You know what I mean? And I think that's the best part of me, honestly. The best part of
Yeah.
me is that I have a strong sense of humility. I don't have no problem, to coming up to somebody telling them I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and those are the best things about me. And I feel like you can learn a lot from things like that.
It's a strong
People,
trait, especially that listening even for you to acknowledge that now.
yeah,
And
man. Don't if you talk to Miss Booker, let
mm,
her know, man. Let her know that she inspired. You know what I mean? She
nah, that's
inspired me
that's
heavily.
stuff, man. Nah, I connect. I'll say something to her, man. That I know. Also, what would I know you're only about 10+ years off, but what would you tell that senior? What advice would you give that colleague that senior in high school? If this colleague, what would you give him? What advice would you give him?
Oh man. I would uh I would tell myself to relax. Just relax a little bit.
Hmm.
Relax some because I feel like a lot of times I pressed. I pressed a lot. I pressed so much that I couldn't enjoy I couldn't enjoy some moments. It was almost impossible for me to enjoy some moments because I was pressing so much because I was afraid to mess up. I was afraid to mess up. Just relax and enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
Enjoy the moment. Yep.
Now, as far as this one here, man, what would Linda Jones say about you now?
Whew. Um, she calls me her brown bear.
Hmm.
um, she would just tell me to make sure that I take care of myself before I take care of everything else. She knows she knows I have an extremely big heart. Um, it could be a good thing, but it also can get you into some trouble a lot. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because you're worried about
Mm.
a lot of things. You just want to make everybody happy. You want to put your hands on everything and make everybody happy. Honestly, only God can do that. Stop trying to. You can't play God. You can't just be trying to make everybody happy. That's not your job. So you just tell me to put myself first and secure my future. That's what my
Mhm.
mother would tell me. That's my mother. Secure my future.
Yeah, man. Nah, that's real, man. And everything you done said, man, like done touched me. You know, your name, man, Khalif. You know, me just being Muslim, obviously got a thing for Arabic names, what have you.
Yeah,
You know, meaning successor. So sure enough, man, without no debating, confusion whatsoever, man, you done succeeded pretty much everyone over there at Montclair High. But when we talk about succeed, you know, that's everything else, man. You done probably met your expectations, done kicked them down up to this point here, man. You talk about your
yeah,
and being with, you know, family right from the beginning as your mom, you know, made a decision that she made, your biological mom here. But you
absolutely.
again, and it's one of those things, I ain't telling you nothing you ain't heard before, but I think it's just one of those things here. Just another admirer that you just had. I mean, never mind reading the Star Ledger or getting kites from people about what you got going on here, but just to just
Yeah,
hear you right now and just kind of just your story and everything else, man. Like I'm even more, like I said, just like honored even to have this time with you here, man. Just to have you just conversate and what have you. Like I said, your perseverance, everything. I mean, you obviously use football and track as a tool to get you where you're at now. And now you could just share these stories. You talk about these fifth graders or these people that you're educating now, these students that you're educating, man. I'm sure, you know, Khalif or Fahir or whatever the case is, I'm sure hearing you know, hearing you my teacher or something talking to these parents, it like brings another sense of joy, accomplishment to you here, and also just being able to educate, you know, and I share this a lot, whether it's yourself or other people, man. Just kind of you engrave your name in the hearts of kids, you'll live forever. And you know what I
absolutely.
mean? And that's what you're doing here, especially you're talking about being in Philly. You know, I know the resources ain't the greatest down there, and you probably could easily did something else with yourself. But
Absolutely.
as you mentioned, it's God's plan. You there. You know what I mean? That's where you at, and that's again wherever your career takes you, your life takes you. Great, but you're there now, and I can only imagine like some of the things you that's so relatable that you can, you know, make these connections with those kids, man. And
For
just to take
sure.
it back even you know years ago on that field, man. I just want to say thank you for giving me the joy, you know, to have an opportunity to just read about you, what have you. I mentioned in my little thing in the beginning before you jumped off. I got summons down because, like I said, I'm in Connecticut now. I got summons down like you gotta come see this man play. I just like I was like, man, I was like, all right. So for me to get summons down to go over to Woodman to watch you, man, and it's just kind of like, and I'm
Wow.
totally dating myself with this analogy here. You was like Barry Sanders in Tecmo Bowl, man. It was just you know what I mean. I'm totally dating myself with that frame of reference, but like just unstoppable, man. It was just like I said, thank you for allowing me, but hundreds and probably thousands of others that you've like you know, threw a smile on their face, what have you, but also just you still being humble enough that you had to take your ass home after the game, and you know
Absolutely.
your mom knew what she was doing with you here,
So,
and again, I'm talking to that man today, so you know, Khalif, man, thank you. You being officially you somehow, some way, or will could make me officially me, man, and thank you for your time, man. I really, really appreciate this.
absolutely. Thank you, man. If we could anytime, man. I like stuff like this,
Nah, that's cool, man. Like I said, I know you're a little elusive, but that's just who you are. But
man.
like I said, I was able to catch you here. Like, I guess that must have been
Yeah.
like the old linebacker in me. I can still have visions of
Yeah.
scraping down the line here, catching you
Yeah,
here.
man.
Yeah,
Definitely caught me.
nah, I appreciate that, man. I
Yep.
appreciate that. So, definitely small world. Anything you need on my end, I mean, or whatever the case may be, man. You know, I had a my nephew just left Philly. He became a doctor down there. Now he's with his girl up north here. She's about to go to med school. So I was in
Yeah.
Philly a lot, man. But like I said, love to meet you in person one day, whatever. If, you
Absolutely.
know, if our worlds collide here, man. But like I said, keep doing what you're doing, and we are proud of you, whether in person or from afar.
For sure. Thank you so much.
All
Yeah.
right, no doubt. We'll talk.
All right.
All right, peace. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, like I said, just get my fan on a little bit at the end there, man. But well deserved, man. But just to hear his story, just his come up and what he's done with his life here, despite some of these obstacles, man, just says it all, man. And that's just what us Jersey people do, particularly those in Essex County. And with that, I'm just gonna slide out. I put my hand over my heart. That means I feel you. Yeah.